growing up with games like Animal Crossing and Pokemon has turned me away from games that are considered hard and violent, and rather made me play peaceful games with a good story. But then, one day my friend Sandre tells me about how he is so hyped about this one game called Dead Cells that is coming for Switch. The game also released for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation and everything else. I then bought it, and when it released for Switch, I was curious to what the story was and how long it would take me until I could master the game and start wrecking enemies. Dead Cells is the opposite of Pokemon. Dead Cells says, fuck wasting time, let's just begin the fucking chaos. I must admit that I'm not as good at Dead Cells as the montage makes me seem, but I think I'm pretty decent. Dead Cells is a mix of Metroidvania, which basically means that you go through places and pick up items that lets you unlock new places or just lets you kill easier. It's also a mix of roguelite. Roguelite basically means that you have to start from the beginning every time you die. Oh yeah, Dead Cells has dungeons that are all procedurally generated, which means that the dungeons you enter will be random and always different. This might make Dead Cells seem like a huge turnoff to many, because of the whole you have to start all over again when you die part. But don't fear, when you die you have to start over again, but you get to keep certain things. You can find different types of scrolls in the game. Some scrolls lets you purchase new things like abilities and weapons. There are also scrolls that lets you level up different stats. You can upgrade how much damage you deal, how much health you have, and purple. When you kill enemies in Dead Cells, they have a chance of dropping these blue bubbles called cells. These lets you purchase the abilities and weapons you got from the scrolls. You can also buy more health flasks. Health flasks let you heal during dungeons. Health flasks heals around 2/3 of your health. You start with no health flasks, and then you can purchase the ability to have more flasks. It's stuff like this that can make Dead Cells easier for you. God damn, I'm glad I'm done saying flasks. Dead Cells has enemies that is easy to read. Besides this one, I don't like this guy. Although it's easy to read the enemies' patterns, doesn't mean that it's easy to beat them. It just means you feel very stupid for taking hits from them. Except for this guy, no one knows his pattern. There are many different enemies. They become harder and harder to beat. The thing I love about the enemies is that even the first enemies in the first dungeon is so satisfying to kill. I felt the determination to beat the game after my first run. This is because Dead Cells makes you look so cool. I also just wanted to add that I love the game's art style, it's so fucking dope. I mean, look at this! Dead Cells has bosses. The first one lets you get familiar with a way to dodge, something that is very important in the game. And the rest, well, they look fucking awesome and have patterns that are insane and too hard for me to process. The game's soundtrack is so perfect for its style. The soundtrack hypes every boss, every dungeon, everything so bad. I love the soundtrack. Props to the music team, man. Congrats. I love you shit. Thank you. I have never played a game where the sense of mastering everything has been so strong. Dead Cells doesn't just make you look cool, it also makes you feel cool. I cannot find a single flaw with this game, besides that the game's story is not the best, but the game is perfect. Which is why I give Dead Cells a 10 out of 10. I've now played Dead Cells for over 2 years, and I finally settled down to make a review. I love this game, it's so good. Dead Cells is one of my all-time favorite games. I often open Dead Cells and play for some hours, so I can slice my way through enemies while vibing to my favorite artist Rav and the homie Kill Bill the Rap. Little spoiler, after you beat the game you get the ability to enhance difficulty. And oh boy, I thought I was good at Dead Cells, but I have not beaten the first difficulty change. In the end, I just wanted to tell you that I haven't played the game's DLC, but that's another thing I love about Dead Cells. I don't feel forced to buy the DLC. The game is already perfect on its own. But seriously, the DLC looks fucking dope.